The following is a Breaks Media podcast.
What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Beck Easy.
Hi, everybody. It's your girl, Joanne.
Hey, y'all. Hey, it's Danny.
Hey, guys. It's Trell, and this is...
The Team. And we have an awesome guest today. Please introduce yourself to the people.
Hi, my name is Samantha Smalls, and I'm a licensed clinical social worker.
Hi, Samantha.
She's certified, verified, licensed, and
Right. Thank you so
for
much
coming.
for coming. We actually met you at the Women Empowerment event hosted by Brianna Regine.
Pour into my cup.
Yes, and it was awesome, and you were awesome there being a support for the women as they poured out and being able to help them in the different things that were discussed. So thank you. You took our card and you was like, oh, girl, if you need me on, let me know. And we need you on.
Right. And you came.
Yes.
Thank you for coming out. We appreciate it.
It's such an honor to be here.
How was your weekend?
My weekend has been very busy. Very busy. I went to 3 holiday parties yesterday.
Oh, wow. Wait, in one night?
One day.
Okay.
That's a lot.
Very busy. Yeah, so I had a coffee up today. And I'm here.
I definitely understand. What about you, Jim?
My weekend. I never know what I do on the weekends. But me and Trell went for happy hour on Friday.
Yes.
Went to Anchor Spa, caught up about what we did that week. We all went to brunch on Saturday.
Yes.
And
$2 mimosas.
Right. And
Yes.
last
I loved it.
my sister hosted a cute little family game night. So I went
That's
there.
cute. That's nice.
And I had to tap out like 10 o'clock. I'm like, it's past my bedtime.
What time it started?
7:45.
That's
a
kind of
good time.
early.
Right.
I don't know.
I
I've
got
been
there
doing
at
the same.
8, 9.
You got there at 9 and left at 10?
8:30.
In your 30s, you gotta remember to take your nap.
Exactly.
Before you go out.
Right.
You got to take the nap.
And I
before you
haven't
go
been
out.
taking a nap as of late.
Good job.
That's
Did you?
good.
Well, it's cold now, so you're not taking those walks.
Not taking
You
the
still can
walks,
take your walk.
But, I'm not wearing a jacket either. So
This is true. It's a give or take.
But we can't
Right.
go put on a jacket.
Yeah, y'all went to happy hour. I didn't catch you. Trell ended up going to
Zodiac.
and I met her and Dom near, and Whit was there with her family. They family lit. They had a
Right.
family happy hour.
it's her birthday weekend.
Yep, it's her birthday weekend. So happy birthday, Whit.
Yes.
And then yesterday I went hookah with a friend, and then I left there and went to hookah with Whitney, Jasmine, and then for her birthday, more celebrating. And that was about it. I went to DC last episode. That's why I wasn't on. That was lit. Shakira. It was her birthday.
Her birthday weekend.
Or was it your birthday?
I'm saying. I'm just thinking about the video.
Basically, it felt like my birthday, and because of that, I've been traumatized, and I've only been drinking wine since.
Keep it light.
Right.
Keep it light forever.
Yeah, we went to brunch yesterday. Friday, I was in the bed. I'm sick. Yeah, if y'all can hear it, but
You're healed in Jesus' name.
Right. Her neck all covered up with that scar.
I'm bundled.
Don't spread it, Lord. Don't
But the weekend before last weekend, I went to New York and seen Queen of Sin.
It was a very good movie.
Nice,
It
nice.
was good.
I loved it.
I ended up seeing it twice, actually. I went last week, and then I went this week. It was really good. I wasn't too happy with the ending, but it was
I
a really
know.
good movie. So if you haven't seen it, I do suggest you go see it.
Definitely.
But yeah, my weekend was the same as everybody else's.
Right, exactly.
Last weekend was very chill. This weekend's pretty chill because after brunch yesterday, I literally went in the house and my intentions were to go to sleep, but I never fell asleep until like 11.
Yeah, I was.
But
knocked
I just
out.
stayed in the house all evening and been relaxing.
Same.
Sounds good. Sounds good. So, Samantha, we have an icebreaker for you.
All right.
Just a few fun questions that we want to ask.
Okay.
The first is, before we get started, I always forget this. Our drink of the week is some good old coquito. Since it's the holiday
Holiday
season.
season.
If you don't know what coquito is, it's like condensed milk, rum, cinnamon, vanilla abstract, coconut. It's a good vibe. Y'all like it?
It's good.
It's my first time having it too.
Really?
I'm not a big coquito fan because of the creamy. I can't really do the creamy alcohol, but I like it.
Right, like if this is the only thing I'm drinking, then okay. But I can't drink this and then be like, let me get a Henny and
Oh,
Coke.
heck no.
Like, no, that's just a disaster.
Yeah, that sounds like
You might have to drink straight
Sounds
Henny
bubbly.
after the coquito.
no. That just sounds like a disaster waiting
But
to
this is
happen.
also Henny and Bailey's is like this too.
Yeah.
And
This
that's
is true.
a great mix.
Oh, you
Yeah.
be drinking that?
The fact that she smiled,
Right.
she be giving herself away.
even
She's
know
like,
why you
every
got
time.
So,
be you.
right, it'd be you. So the first question, based on vocal ability alone, who do you think would cook the best? Patti LaBelle, Bob Marley, Mariah Carey, or Luther Vandross?
Luther.
Ooh,
Well, skinny or big Luther? You
Big Luther.
Yeah.
that's a thing. That is a thing.
I would still have to give it a Patty.
This is true.
Patty?
You know, she's very strong and she's, commanding. So, yeah.
And then Patty
And she
pie.
making them pies, right?
I heard she got banana pudding now.
I don't like banana
I
pudding.
don't know. She's going too far.
Right. Stick with the pie. Stick with the pie.
I never tried to buy, actually. I
Me
almost
either.
brought it the other day at Walmart, but I never tried it.
I think I had it once, and I was like, oh, "Okay, this is not bad."
She was like a regular sweet potato pie.
Right.
Do you got to put it in the oven or you can eat it as is?
They say you're supposed to put it in the oven, but during that whole viral sensation, people just taking out the box and cutting it. But I think you are supposed to put it in the oven.
Well, it's
I mean,
done.
it's cooked either way.
Right, it's done.
Yeah. Well, that's good, but I would kind of say it depends on what kind of food you want. Because Bob Marley with the
Right.
rice and
Right.
peas,
That was my
and
first
the
thought.
cabbage and oxtails. So Mariah Carey, that's some bland baked chicken.
We know
With
she's
some
not
string
cooking. Her
beans.
chef is cooking.
Potato salad with
good on her.
raisins. No
So
shade.
Patty, yeah.
You got this.
Luther probably will eat it. I don't think he can
Shut
actually cook it. No, I'm kidding. But
The old Luther.
Right. Okay. Next question. The fastest way for someone to earn cool points with you is to A, tell the truth no matter what. B, admit when they're wrong. C, make time for you. D, verbalize the things they like about you.
Ooh.
This is kind of like your 5 love languages.
Yeah. So in that aspect, for me, I would probably say make time for me. I feel like if you're putting in effort to make
Yeah.
time,
Yeah, that's
definitely get some cool points for there.
Yeah.
From
The
that.
fastest way, yeah.
I agree, actually. It's between that and, what's the, be honest, truthful.
Tell the
Yeah.
truth.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that was going
probably
to be
my
mine.
number one.
Yeah.
That was going to be my number one.
Yeah.
Because if you could keep it a stack at all times, then it's like, all right, I could trust you. And,
And
everything else will follow.
What was the one after that? What was the one after that one?
Admit when they're wrong.
That one.
I don't need you to admit when you're wrong because I
No.
never do. So
But if you tell me the truth,
right, it's like, oh, okay, I
know,
respect.
same
I
thing.
really
Say
need.
it.
right, it
This
doesn't
just-
really need to be
This
said.
just reminded me of
Right.
the conversation we were having yesterday at brunch. Up
Yeah.
to here, like,
Yeah,
yeah. Remember conversation yesterday?
yeah.
Sorry, in
Silence. Silence. All right, last one. What would be your response to someone telling you "I love you" when you don't love them back? A,
Ooh, child.
I love you too, out of kindness, then backtrack later.
Sips.
B, I'm sorry, I don't feel the same. C, haha, you're crazy. D, thank you.
D.
That's horrible, but yeah, thank you.
I would do the C probably.
I would do the C
Like, you
too.
crazy.
Yeah.
Stop answering
playing.
the same time I'm answering. Like you answering my same question.
This happened to me the other day, and I think
would
I just
definitely-
closed the door.
Oh.
Wait, what?
I just was like, okay, bye, see you later.
Oh.
I
I mean,
know,
hey, you
because
don't
I'm
wanna
definitely
lie.
not about to say I love you too and
Yeah,
then
right.
retract later. What's the point of that?
Yeah, that's kind of whack. I would just laugh it off.
Yeah.
So it's
I
still
think it depends on who's saying it
And where.
what the scenario is.
Right.
I don't know.
Like if you texted me that, I may not respond for a little while.
right.
I might just let it cool off.
Now
Right.
that if it's text, I'll say thank you. If it's in person, I'll just, you crazy. Like, oh, yeah.
No, thank you. I'm just happy that you care for
Right,
me like
right.
that.
True.
And,
If it's
you
in a
know,
text, I'd be like, I love me too.
That's a good one.
Right.
That is
right.
a very good one. That's a very good one.
we're on one accord.
Right.
Likewise.
I'm glad we're on the same page.
Exactly. He gonna be like, nigga, what?
That's a great answer. Thank you for that one.
So that was our icebreaker. Those were some fun questions.
Thank you.
Shout out to Mentally Stimulate Me by Derek Jackson.
Yeah, I
We've
know
been
that's
playing it
our
for a little
favorite.
while.
Right.
And some good questions. in there.
Derek. Go ahead and endorse us.
Yes.
Facts.
So we are not going to do our regular episode segments with, you tried it, rooting for everybody black, drop that line. We are going to get right into the nitty gritty, into our topic. So first, Miss Samantha Small, can you let everybody know who you are, what you do for a living?
So I am a psychotherapist. I've been one for about 12 years. I am licensed in the state of Connecticut. And I work with women primarily, especially those who's going through the life stages of being a mom, motherhood, and also young adults with life transitions. And I think that pairs well in regards to what we're going to be talking about today, because as we grow and go through different changes and stages, our relationships change, and it's hard to navigate it. So I talk to a lot of women about this, even establishing friendships, because it's very hard, especially among African American women.
Yeah.
So.
We hear that a lot.
Right.
Yeah. So, that's me in a nutshell. I have a private practice up in Bloomfield called New Chapter Counseling Services, and it's 1.5 years young, and it's thriving, and I'm very excited about it.
Yeah, that's
We were
That's
rooting for you.
sweet.
Right.
This week we are rooting for Miss Samantha Smalls.
And to have a Black woman is like really good, because when you're looking for a therapist or you're looking to see someone to talk to about different things, you kind of want somebody that looks like you.
Right.
So the increase in the melanin is definitely a plus in that area.
Word.
So who want to go first? We have a few topics as far as friendship and business. We all came with 2 different topics, which I think some of us probably have the same
Probably.
Yeah.
bit.
Okay.
Then you could go first.
I bought 5 just in case.
Oh, okay. Well, you well prepared.
I came
like,
kind of unprepared.
Because yesterday me and Joe said the same thing. So I'm like, let me think of other shit.
Right.
Somebody else
Speak.
And I thought about that and still forgot.
Okay, I'm gonna go with changing individually and like personal matters that may affect the business and or friendship.
Okay.
We like almost 2 years old now, and we've done a lot of growth as a group, but individually, I kind of feel like we're becoming our own women, and I think sometimes we are not mindful of each other's like process and journey or what each other's going through, and we tend to butt heads.
Tend to butt
lot.
heads. We butt heads a lot.
Yeah, a lot.
Yes. Like I was thinking earlier, like this year we kind of went through 2 tough periods. Like one around the live show time, and then it kind of died down, and then a situation happened, and it kind of got hot again, and then it cooled off again. So it's like a cycle, I guess. But yeah, how do we I guess, be mindful of each other's processes and journeys and still maintain this business friendship.
Yeah,
Right.
that's kind of similar to one of my questions.
So the first thing that y'all need to keep in mind is that you need to verbalize where you are in life.
Right.
Because sometimes we assume that everybody knows where you are just by what you're doing, but you're not actually verbalizing it. So this is the issue that I think we have as women, is that we put our expectations in regards to what other people should do and how they should react based on what we do. So the first thing you really need to do is just verbalize, this is where I am, because we're not mind readers. Also, make sure you do have an identity, your own personal identity outside of this.
Right.
Because y'all spend so much time together, which I think is totally amazing. But however, who are you as an individual? Who are, y'all are in this great stage of young adulthood. Some of you are mothers, right?
Yes.
So, this right here is just an attribute. This is not your identity.
Right.
So who are you outside of this? And continue to develop that, continue to have like your own interests, do things individually, have friends outside of this. It's okay to have 2 different friend groups.
Right.
So when you need a break, you actually have a place to go for a break. Or if it's just a withdrawal and you want to be by yourself for a while, verbalize it. So it won't be like, oh, what's wrong with her? And it's more so like,
Right.
I need my time.
Right.
I need my space.
And I think the verbalization is what is needed, because a lot of times it'll just be I'm going to just disappear from the group message when we are talking business and different ideas and different decisions that need to be made. We don't be knowing what's going on with
I was
her
about to say that. I'm like, I'm not the one to verbalize.
after the fact, or you know what I'm saying, or after somebody spaz like, my nigga, you ain't answered, da da da, and then it's, oh, well, I was doing X, Y, and Z. I think the verbalization is important, because even when the situation happened where, so me and Trell wasn't rocking personally with whatever happened, it ended up being a podcast thing because she went to Danny for advice about it. And then when it happened, I just was like, F everybody. Taking myself off the next recording, and I disappeared. But when I disappeared, Joe hit me up, was like, are you good? Like, she checked up on me. But I did verbalize, like, look, I'm out. I'll let y'all know when I come back.
So business is an objective thing. So what we do, we become very subjective in regards to how things should be done. But if we actually look at business as business, stepping away from your feelings, validate your feelings always.
Right.
But when it comes to what's going to, what's best for the business, put that first. And then back off when you have time and be honest. Maybe I should do like what's real, what's going on, just a little sit down, outside of the recordings and stuff, and like, okay, so where are we mentally?
Like checking in.
Just a good check-in to see where we are. And if it's like have like certain topics, just like how y'all did it today, but like, is anybody experiencing an ouch moment?
Right.
Like something was said, so you don't want murmuring, because that's what happens when it's such a group like this.
Right.
You could have your division.
Right.
And you want to make sure that's not what you're doing.
And that's definitely the case. It's literally me and Joe versus Danny and Trell.
But I disagree with that because I don't feel like it is. I feel like I don't feel like it's division if I feel a certain way and that she happens to agree with, and then they happen to agree on the same thing. I feel like that's just the way it is, because there's plenty of times where me and Joe might be on the same page, or me and Beck might be on the same page,
Right.
and everybody's off. So I feel like that's
true.
That's just the way that it is. Like, we're not always gonna match when it comes to making decisions or whatever.
Right.
We're always gonna have difference of opinions.
Our manager is off camera.
Hi.
With a
so it's me, Nell. How's everyone? So I have to disagree. I feel
who?
like because we're gonna keep it 100 on this
Who are we disagreeing
episode.
with?
So I disagree with what Trell said, because sometimes I don't disagree. I rephrase that. I'm going to say that being inside and being the middle person, it ends up being I'm agree with Danny at the time, but then when we all talk together, it's okay, wait a minute, I agree with you. Or Joe will be like, oh wait, I agree with Beck, but then when you talk to the side, it's like, well, no, that's not what I was trying to say. I definitely agree with the verbalization that needs to be there, because we don't get that. But I think a lot of times is, okay, let me hit up, or I feel, this is how I feel. I hit up, Trell hit up Danny, like, oh, this is what happened, like, da-da-da, we're going to go in, this was going to happen. Oh, I'm going to hit up Becca. Joe going to hit up Becca. Oh, you feel the same way, right? Because I know you feel the same way. And then it's like, okay, well, yeah, I do feel the same way, because now we hit up, now we get there, and it's these two and them two. And the fact that they aren't verbally, Danny and Trell are not verbal as much as Becca is and maybe Joe, or Joe and Danny, it becomes a clash. And that's where I feel the clash is at. It's very like, well, say that. Like you say, like Trell will say to me, I don't know why Danny would have did that. So why didn't you say that when we was all in the group message? Why didn't you say that when we all were sitting there? Like, don't wait to the side to tell me. I need your backup now.
So I think what that is, I think a lot of stuff that plays a part is the assumption that we all know what's going on. So I know me personally, I very, very rarely initiate a side conversation and say, I don't never say, well, this is what I'm going to say. All right, make sure you agree with me, or do you agree with me? I might call, like I called Nell the other day to see if she understood where I was coming from a situation. But other than that, I'm not like
precedented. Oh, look, this is what we're gonna say when we get there. No,
and I'm a person.
This is how I feel. Am I tripping? Because I'm a very person that be like, look, am I wrong?
I'm a person who I see all sides of the situation, or I try to anyway, and I take into account of what everybody is saying. So whatever I say here, yes, I may come back and say, oh, you know what? That makes sense. I agree. But at the end of the day, my opinion is my opinion. If I'm completely wrong, then I'll own that. But I'm keeping it a bug. And if this is how I feel, this is how I feel, regardless of who feel that way. It's not, oh, well, me and Danny, let's be on the same page. That's not the case.
But we've had meetings where it's like, oh, go ahead.
No, I was about to say, one thing I was truly and strongly discouraged is the expression of feelings or things that could be interpreted through text messages. Mm-hmm. So group chats are good when we're just either chatting it up or there's something that people need to know now. Mm-hmm. It's factual things.
Right.
But when it, add a feeling or I feel some type, that never should be written down, because now you're leaving me to interpret what you're saying with my feelings and my perspective. And that is so dangerous. So I would truly discourage that.
Yeah, I
You was
agree.
about to say something?
Yeah, I was gonna piggyback on what Nell said. When it comes to me, I'm not really that vocal. So if I feel some type of way, I 100% probably won't vocalize how I feel. I'll probably like eventually blow up if like I feel attacked. However, when it comes to a
Terminal.
situation with, you know, disagreeing or agreeing, however I feel and I express it, that's where it stands. Like I
Right.
don't flip flop. It's how I feel at that very moment and will continue to be. It's not switching. But.
Right.
So
I
the
agree.
issue with not verbalizing and keeping things within yourself is that you are now against yourself.
Right.
So whatever you're feeling is going to be reinforced over and over again. You don't have anything neutral that's telling you to back off, especially if you feel strongly about something and it's negative. Because it's easy for us to think negatively.
Right.
So when you're by yourself and you're spiraling, because that's what you're doing, you're going around and around and it's getting worse and worse and worse. And then you're just waiting for somebody to say that thing and it's like, I knew it. It's like the confirmation in your mind that you were just waiting for. But if you actually, you know, even though it's uncomfortable and you're not comfortable expressing yourself, you have to remember the foundation of this is friendship. So you're not trying to hurt each other.
Right.
So if we're coming from a place of I feel, this is what's going on. Not
You gotta
that
respect the
you're
feeling.
mean and you're this and you're that, because once you put those adjectives out there, you are attacking somebody's character. And you never want to do that. But when you come from the perspective of I feel this way and I was hurt when this happened, or, you know, I was even confused and I didn't know how to take this. So I felt, you know, it comes back to you as a person and validation of your feelings. And then somebody could say, well, no, that's not what I meant. You know, but if it's accusatory, then that's when things fall down. But, you know, if you have to express yourself no matter how uncomfortable it is. Among you guys, this should be actually a safe space.
Right.
So it should be okay to be like, you know what, this is what I'm going through, or this is how I feel.
And I think I am a super verbal person. Like everybody gonna know how I feel about any and everything. And I think it's looked down upon because there are people among me that don't verbalize nothing. So it's just like, well, that didn't need to be said. Like, nigga, I'm saying it because that's how I feel. Like, you know what I'm saying? When I say something, I'm gonna say it, and I'm very good with saying something and keeping it moving and not thinking about it ever again. And then it'll be, oh, well, a week later, oh, well, I felt this. Like, why we ain't been addressed that when it was happening? Like, I don't dwell on shit. Like, I got too much stuff going on outside of here to be sitting here lingering on stuff that can be dealt with and then move forward. My favorite phrase is moving forward. Like, I'm not about to keep going through that.
So you're a very direct person.
Very.
So what happens is when you talk, because you say what comes to mind, you say it out. You just say it, right?
I was like that, and I
Okay.
had to say to myself, let me think first before I speak, because I can say some, I don't know, I just be keeping it a buck, but maybe that's not good for everyone.
Right.
So
Because what happens is people aren't listening to what you're saying, they're looking at your delivery. So you have to be careful in regards to how you deliver your truth and how you say it to other people, because I'm telling you, people they can hear you or see you more than they can hear you.
Right.
You always want to be heard. So yes, and also with delivery or keep it moving. The thing about keep it moving that we have to be careful about is that I could hurt your feelings and keep it moving, and now there's hurt among us, and now we're not moving because we're not acknowledging that there's hurt. So now we're stuck. You're gone. And everybody else is like, nope, because we still need to address this, because I felt some type of way. Then we have these two who's like holding it in and spiraling. And then she's just like, you know, that wasn't right, but somebody needs to say something.
You are 100 right now.
So, you know, we have to be careful on communication.
Yeah,
That
that's
was
what
one
I
of
was
our other
gonna
bullets.
say is the communication, because yes, there needs to be more verbalization, but I also think there needs to be understanding or respect of like one's process thing, because maybe in that moment when we are talking about something, maybe Joe don't want to address it in that moment. However, when we are at the table and this is the opportunity, I feel like take advantage of the opportunity versus I'm just not going to say anything. It is what it is. Like if you have something that you want to say it. But it's how we say stuff. But then we also have to work on, all of us, being receptive of what's being said and then the listening to understand. I feel like there's a lot of listening just like have a response or a comeback. I don't feel like let me legit hear what you're saying, process it, and then we can go from there.
Right. And most of these like disagreements are business related. They're not within the friendship. Because we can have a whole business disagreement and then be fine on the friendship front. Right. So it's like prior to starting the podcast, we didn't disagree as much as we do now.
But we all are in a business together for the first time
Right.
and dealing with each other on a new level,
Right.
I would say. And it's something we're all doing for the first time. None of us know anything about podcasting. It's all new to us. So I think we tend to forget that sometimes, and we expect everything to be perfect, and it's not going to be that way. Or we expect, Becca, I'm this way, I like it done this way. Everybody's not going to operate that way. We are all individual, and I think we forget to respect everybody's individuality.
And I'm gonna say, in the way that you're talking about it just lets me know that you're actually passionate about this. So because you're so passionate, you're probably kind of being a perfectionist.
Yeah.
And when you're a perfectionist, that brings up anxiety and other things. And then you try to do too much at once without going through the process. Allow yourself as a group just to go through the process. Whatever we don't do right now doesn't mean that we can't do it later. And we don't have to do it all now up front. And the worst thing, because there's a lot of podcasts out here. Don't compare yourself to what other people are doing, because that puts on another level of pressure of trying to keep it up. What y'all have here is unique. And, just build your brand. And people will follow you based on your brand, not because you have it right. What's right is what you're doing.
Right.
And believe in that. So once you have confidence in your brand and this is us and we're just free flowing and we're about the people and we just let it come out. We're saying things that people aren't saying. We're talking about topics that people aren't talking about. That's you. So, even if you have to take, turns and this is the idea and own it, and that'll be your podcast topic and everybody surrounds you around it. But I guess it's like coming together and trying to pick those things. I'm not podcast, so I don't have expertise in that. But it's being heard, going through the, the creative innovation part of it. But go through the process. There's no rush.
I think that ties into one of my topics is work ethic. Was it last year? I think after our first year of podcasting, we had a meeting and I'm like, where does everybody see this going? Like you said, passionate. I am a perfectionist here and outside of here. I have my own business. I've worked in customer service for several years. So I kind of know how things work as far as business and some mindset. So like there will be times where we have an opportunity and I'm in a space of by any means necessary, even if it's only one new listener, let's do it or let's try to do it. Whereas sometimes Trell and Daniel will be more like, I'm gonna decline that. Like I won't say bougie, but like more of a bougie aspect to it. Whereas me and Joe is like, all right, come on, let's grind. What we gonna do to get this done? And I feel like we aren't there yet. We've come a long way. We are doing really great things. We're doing great things more than some podcasters, but there's some podcasters that are better than us. I feel like if we have the opportunity, the time, and availability to go that extra mile to get it done, why not at least try to do it?
And see, in that aspect, I feel like where is the conversation of, well, why don't you want to do it? Or why do you think we should decline? Why is it the assumption that is bougie? I'm a person who feels like every opportunity is not necessarily the opportunity for us. And everybody might not be on the same wavelength we're on. So I don't feel like just because there's money or something like that involved that we have to jump on everything. I feel like we don't take the time to really weigh our options or process something before we go into it. It's like an automatic, this is money or this person got this amount of followers, that'd be good for us. I don't feel like we really weigh.
What do you mean by the wavelength thing? Like, explain that.
Just like, I don't want to give an example because I want to drag nobody into this. But, how do I want to say? maybe they're not in alignment with what we are trying to do. Like I feel like we have a great business mindset compared to a lot of other people. So I'm not ready to just jump on and collaborate with everybody. Like I want to look at the pros and cons and weigh the whole situation, because we've been in situations where we do something and after and it's like, we're not doing that anymore because X, Y, and Z. You know what I mean? So I feel like if we took the time to process before, instead of it just being like, let's just automatically jump on it because it sounds good at the time, then cool. But by no means am I saying let's not do something because I'm bougie or I feel like I'm too good. I just feel like every single opportunity may not be the opportunity for us, even no matter how good it looks.
So even with that, when she says if they're not in alignment with where we're going, they don't have to be. When you networking, I'm not going to only network with podcasters. I'm going to network with a restaurant. I'm going to network with a sex toy business. Because at the end of the day, that's you expanding yourself amongst people that you would never, you probably never, do you listen to podcasts prior to meeting us?
Yes, I have.
Okay, but it could be somebody that never listened to a podcast, don't know nothing about a podcast, and we see them at the restaurant and they say, oh, wow, I enjoy this. Now I'm going to get into it. They don't have to always be in alignment. So that's where we vary.
Yeah, that's where we differ. However, I kind of see her point because there was a situation where, someone wanted us, but I feel like they would get more benefit off of us coming on board than we would get. So it's more so us building them up than having an equal exchange.
Right. I'm a
Like,
little
how
bit.
does it benefit us both in the long run?
I'm a little bit more like strategic about it. Like, we can talk about it, and then I may say no, but then you tell me why you think we should do it. All right, I see where you're coming from. Right. It's just a conversation.
Right.
Is what I'm looking for us to have, just a conversation.
Same. I feel like the same way we need to have the conversation piece more, but also listen to, if I'm saying this is what my feelings are, these are my feelings. I'm hearing what you're saying, but at the end of the day, it doesn't change my feelings. And I feel like it's like, well, this is what we should do. And if I'm not in agreement, then it's a problem automatically. Whereas I don't have to be in agreement. At the end of the day, I do know it's not just about me. And there's 4 of us here. And if all 4 of us, if everybody wants to do X, Y, Z, and I don't, I'm going to suck it up and do what I do because I know it's not just about me and it's about the team as a whole. However, still respect my opinion or my thoughts on the situation.
Right.
That's why we started doing polls. Like literally vote about every single thing.
So we do have a poll about every single thing, literally. But I think it's more of, and I get both sides. So I do get like every opportunity. The work ethic part for me is the fact of, this is what needs to be done, and why do I have to remind you? Like, with them growing, they've all grown to their 30s. So now we're in a whole nother time frame, different, you're 30, you're an adult, you're grown. Why am I reminding you? Why am I saying to you, and I'm going to put it out there, we needed a bank account, a Cash App, and a PayPal. I'm more, and I think, like you said, the verbalization is very, very important. It lacks in the group. The listening to understand, it does lack. So I'll be more like, hey, so Joe is our financial person. It took us a year, 6 months, I don't know. And me personally, though, I would say, hey, Joe, by next meeting, can I have it? Hey, Joe. Where Becca's like, I just don't understand why you don't get it done. And then you got Danny and Trail that are just like, we don't have it. Like, okay, so what? We don't have it. The bougie part, I get that as well. We'll get people that'll come on. We got offered something. One of our podcasters had got offered something. And instead of saying like, no, we're all available, we're going to do what we got to do to get this done. The email that went back was, well, no, we're only available on da, 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 da. And it was, a podcast that was well known, where I personally, had it been discussed first, would have said, that person's going to make, even if all 4 didn't go, that person is going to make sure that they're going to get there. That's the mind. That's what she mean, or I feel, for the work ethic part. Right. I totally agree with Trail on sitting and thinking about it first and not responding. But I think the response should, and it's gotten so much better, of send it to the email. Let us, and so when I do the initial, I always say, thank you so much for thinking about us. We appreciate this opportunity. Once I speak to the ladies, I'll get back to you. Right. Not the automatic, like, no. And Trail's absolutely right. We never say, well, why are you saying no? We just assume.
But I feel like as
And
a
it's
person,
off-
if you say, "Nah, I'm not feeling that because da 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 da," like,
But-
why
and
does
that's-
somebody have to ask you?
So that's where it lacks at, because it is, like you said, with her, with the verbalization and the being strong, and you can see by her body language is the same for Trell. It's the same for the both of them with the body language.
What's the body language?
The body language, as in like, well, no, like right now, that like what? It's like, do you have an attitude or are you straight?
This is where it comes with me. I feel like with me, it's like everything is like, let me nitpick, because I'm literally sitting here listening, and it's like,
But we all know that you're
body-
sarcastic, Trell.
But I'm not being sarcastic right now. I'm literally just
but
trying
we're
to
just
talk.
saying that.
But
that
it's the
is
same thing with her. When she's strong like that, it
You wanna
automatically comes off. And like in the meetings, I'll be like, well, I know you being funny. Like, and I'll say it to her, like, I know you being, and she'll be like, no, I'm not being funny. Yes, you, because there's years of friendship. Same thing with Joe. I can tell when something's bothering Joe. I'll say, Joe, what's going on? And I have to literally say,
Pull it out
Joe, what's going on? Oh, nothing. Yes, it is. What is it?
And she do that
Because
smirk
one
right
day,
there.
I'm going to give an example. We were at the bar, and it was business. And I completely agree with Danny on the business. It's the business. We were talking about the Cash App. Me, Becca, and Trell were all saying the same thing. But because she was yelling, Rebecca was yelling. Me and Trell were not yelling. Joe turned and looked at me and spazzed. And I went, you would have got punched in the face had I not been in this establishment.
Absolutely. One, can I just say one thing? One, sometimes I don't feel like sharing how I feel because I don't feel like it's a safe space. Two, that particular moment, she was barking in the back of my ear, and that Nell was in front of me and she was beside me. Bark, bark, bark. Talking. So
She
it's
got
just
overwhelmed because it was 3 people talking.
So first of all,
so
if
that's
you have
good.
someone
I'm
barking
glad.
behind and Joe, and well, I'm trying to say like
We were attacking
you're
her.
just gonna blurt out whatever you feel. And when I express that I felt attacked and it was a trigger, every day after that,
that's a trigger. No,
she would throw
That was
it
me.
back in my
But-
face sarcastically that it's a trigger for me. So there it goes. You did not respect how I feel. Again, I don't feel safe to tell you anything else because you're just going to throw it back in my face. That's a trigger. That's a trigger.
So we did have the dialogue. So wait. Wait. So we did have the dialogue.
Because Samantha-
So
This is our
a
problem as
no
well.
meeting. She won't stop. We
So
just
the
said, and we're
dialogue-
gonna let Samantha finish. And
So
then
the
you go.
dialogue was there, and that was good. We had the dialogue, so now I know because she finally said after
She
me
literally
doing
did
it.
not listen to what
I
we
didn't.
just said.
After we did it,
And this
she
is the
said
problem.
that to me.
So we're among a lot of passionate people.
Right.
Right.
So everybody want to get
It's the number one problem.
heard.
Right.
I want you guys to be very careful of acting like y'all don't know each other. Y'all know each other. Y'all know each other's strengths and you know each other's weaknesses. So if you know somebody's good at something, let them do it so it doesn't have to be a long debate. And you know where there's other people weaknesses. So you say, you know what, I just need your input, but at the end of the day, this is my baby. This is what I'm going to take care of. But one thing I keep hearing though is compassion. That compassion is like my theme of the month. But y'all are not actually showing compassion to each other. You're not respecting your differences because your differences is actually what makes this work.
Right.
So if you know you have somebody who usually shuts down, then you know to give them a minute. That's not a weakness of theirs. They just need to process, and then but they need to come back. So if you need time, verbalize, I need time so you could come back. You know, running a business is very hard, and there's so many opinions. So y'all have a business manager, right?
Yes, Miss
All
Linnell
right.
over there.
Do you have somebody to help y'all with brand? Because if you don't, there are going to be so many opportunities that's going to come out that you just want to jump on because you're like, it's going to build us as, you know, a podcast, as a business, as a brand, but it can actually hurt you. You have to have some sort of direction. You know, there's a lot of people you want to connect to, but you may not need them. If there's a certain audience that you're trying to reach, then that's who you focus on. You don't need everybody. You
Right.
just need the masses of who you actually want to talk to.
Right.
So it's dangerous when, you know, you feel like you have to jump on everything
because it may not be what you need. It may align you with something that you really don't want to be aligned with. You know, because after they grow and change, you're like, ooh, don't put, the team up there with him, because that's not us. So to have somebody y'all sit down, what's your mission? What are who's your audience? And target that. Don't stray from that. You don't have to have everything. Just have your streamline of something so you can get boosted straight up as you are the it people for this. But the communication is key. You don't want to, and be careful. I'm going to continue to say this. Be careful of pointing out imperfections. Those aren't imperfections. That's that person's strength. You just don't see it like that. So if somebody is shutting down, sometimes they're the processor, they're the thinkers. You just need to go back to them, but like, can you please tell me what you're thinking? So I can see, like you say, you weigh the pros and cons about things, make sure you're sharing it so people will know. So it could be an open discussion. If you feel overwhelmed, I'm overwhelmed. Let me tell you why. There's too much, because sometimes too much is chaotic and everybody wants to be right. And at that point, everybody is wrong because nobody's being heard.
Right.
So you want to make sure that with the idea or the contention, whatever that is, that thing is heard. Because if it's not heard, I'm telling you, it's just going to be the elephant in the room. And it's going to stay there until the next elephant comes to the room. And then it's going to get so big that y'all not even going to be able to fit in the room or want to even come in the room because it's not going to be safe.
Right.
So you have to be careful in regards to not acknowledging each other's strength, letting people take the lead where they're strongest, but also having a communication of what direction are we going in? Stay focused. Because if you're not focused, you'll be pulled. Like if you don't stand for anything, you'll fall for everything. Come on now. So be very careful in regards to that.
And you had, go ahead.
Like the reason why I don't say stuff sometimes when it's like, because if I was getting attacked, I don't want to be like, if one person already telling you something, I don't feel I need to chime in to tell you too. Like they're telling you. I don't want to attack anybody.
So there's a difference between attack and saying, I agree or I disagree.
I might say that. But as far as like, for the example of them they were talking about like the accounts or whatever. If them two already telling her, I don't need to chime in. They telling her what it is. And I'm going to agree or I'm going to disagree. And I probably would just leave it at that.
But you didn't do either in that situation. You just was like, y'all
were already talking about it.
But like she said, it's a difference between attacking her and saying, I agree. Because when it's just, it'll look like, it's just Nell and Becca barking. When in all actuality, everybody feels the same way.
I might say, Joe, come on, you need to get your shit together.
But did she say that to you?
Yeah, she'll side text me.
Oh, so then nobody knows that. So then it looks like me and Nell is barking.
Yeah, so go back to that, that texting communication.
Right. But even in person, even at meetings, like literally Denny would just be sitting there and we'd be like, my nigga, say something. Like, and we just.
It's hard to get a word in edgewise sometimes. Like, like the last meeting, you and Nell were going at it. Am I right? Am I right? And I'm like,
and we all just
waiting for y'all to finish. Joe just stop. Waiting for y'all to finish.
It does get just cat. We have a problem with moving. Becca said she's the queen of moving forward, but we have a problem with legit moving forward. We were drag a situation.
Like even that conversation, I'm like, okay, we done, and they'll just kept going.
We were drag a situation instead of like, okay.
Even after she said, Becca just said that. Trell said, Becca just said that. Joe said, Becca just said that. She still just kept going. I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna just sit here and
that was my one situation.
Until we done.
we drag instead of okay. We want to talk about why it didn't get done so bad. Okay, we talk about it. Okay, it's done now. Move forward.
There's a difference between moving forward and holding on, because everybody uses that phrase in this group, moving forward, but then it'll come up again, or it'll be, well, remember the situation, or remember. So the moving forward thing doesn't work for me because we end up doing that. And I really didn't understand where she was coming from, or I felt like she didn't know where I was coming from. We're sisters, so it's kind of different. We just move forward. But I did, at the end, was like, but this is what I was trying to say back. And then when we talked, I'm like, okay, I see what you were saying. It was literally the verbiage. But the moving forward phrase doesn't always work because you'll say moving forward, but it'll come up again. Or it'll be like, oh, well, such and such did this. Or remember when you did that? Like, It's not
when it
moving
comes
forward.
up again, it's
Right.
not that issue is still an issue no more. It's just an example to prove a point that's current.
So how do
Which
you?
I get, but
what do
we
you
gotta-
say about that? That's
Yeah,
what I
how do
want
we
to
get
know.
past doing that?
Do not do that, because that's bringing up old things that we said we resolved.
right.
And when you bring it forward, it's like, oh, so we never really resolved that. We was just saying that.
Right.
Right.
So be careful with using the past as an example.
Mm-hmm.
Also, reframe what the problem is. It may not be a problem. What's the concern?
Right.
You know, because sometimes the use of words are powerful.
Yeah.
So if you use word like, I'm concerned about this, or I'm concerned about that, you know, maybe we need to explore this, or maybe we need to explore that. You know, what are the pros and cons? Like, but make sure you're gentle with your language. Make sure when y'all communicate with each other that you're kind to each other. Also, when it gets heated, practice the break, the pause. Honestly, stop. Breathe so you can think. Because I don't know if y'all noticed, when y'all going back and forth, so
Be
you're
out of breath.
Yeah, you're not breathing.
Can you breathe? Can you?
You
Oh, I'm good.
you may feel it in your body tensing up. Your adrenaline is up. So it's telling you, oh, you need to survive. You need to fight. You need to do something. Breathe to bring it down. We are not about to fight each other. You know, we are a close group of friends, you know, friendship, a network. So pause, breathe. Hey, we need to take a break. Because notice when it's not going anywhere. Because if you keep trying to beat a dead horse, he's just going to have bruises.
Right.
He's going to start bleeding. So you need to back off. Sometimes you need to back off. If it's like, let's table this for a second. Let's
table
take a
this.
break. You know, shake it off. You know, come back with a clearer insight and then go back for it. But yes, everybody needs to give the input, because we don't want to just assume that somebody agrees or disagree. Just say it. Even if you don't want to go through the long discussion but you have to say your opinion. Say it, because it's valid. Everything that y'all have and y'all thinking about is very valid. Express it.
Yeah.
But do it in a very respectful way.
Yeah, we've been
Agree.
saying that a lot lately. We have to say that to Joanne a lot, because she always says, I don't have an opinion, but it's four of us here. Like,
Right.
you have to have an opinion.
You have to have an opinion, or you shouldn't be at the table.
Period. And it shouldn't be
Because
a
if
side
you-
message of, hey, I did agree, get your shit together. Like,
Because
I didn't even know that happened.
It wasn't like
So it make
I
it look
didn't
like-
agree. Get your shit together, like Joanne. You know,
Right, but that should have been said in the moment when we was talking about it.
Well, she expressed it.
Yeah, so just learn how to do it amongst each other.
Right. If this is a business between all four of us,
Right. And you know, I don't want to be naive not to think that there won't be side conversations. But don't let those conversations be more of a murmuring and stirring of anything.
Right.
Right.
Because if that's what's going on, then you need to go to a neutral person.
Right.
Don't
Right.
go to the person who's going to back you up.
Right.
Go to somebody that you know may have a contrary opinion than you.
What's the face for?
Because then y'all could actually, you know, discuss it from different perspectives. So don't
Right.
go to the person. Go to the
Right. I don't need a yes to me. I might need
Right.
somebody that's going to tell me the truth.
Right, which is why I say everybody, whatever the opinion is, everybody needs to share it, because maybe your opinion might have us all like, okay, you're right.
Right.
So don't go to that person that usually aligns with you. That's not helpful. That's
Right.
not an area of growth. That will keep you stagnant in your mindset. Go to the person that you know is going to challenge you, you know, respectfully, but challenge you so you can have a different, you know, perspective. Move forward.
I was gonna say something. I totally forgot.
And you did say a point of you guys know everybody. Honestly, within the last few months, I don't think we know each other like that, like how we used to be. Like 2012, the team, we fun, having games. Oh, yeah, we getting lit. Oh, yeah. When we go out, it's fun and lit. But as far as, like Danny said, we're grown as women, I don't think we know each other.
And I agree with that,
Me
because
too.
we, like I said, we are dealing with each other on a different level. One, we're all, Nell said it, we're all like now in our 30s. Me and Danny got kids. We all got our own thing going on outside of this. So I definitely agree, which is why I have said in the past, and I said it again yesterday, I think when we first started the podcast thing, we forgot to remember the friendship. So I'm like, we need to make sure we're being intentional and prioritizing our friendship as well. And that means just taking time to not talk about the business, but to talk to each other as friends and as people.
Right.
Because then we can learn each other, because we are all very different now.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Ask you, like, how do we, because it is mainly business.
It's tied into
It's like
it.
business
Everything's
is
tied
primary
into it.
now, and then friendship is secondary. And we've said this quite a few times. Like we need to work on our relationships, our friendships.
And it's not easy.
It's not, but it's times like we will have like a heated moment, a heated time, and we only talk about business, and we don't want to be around each other no other time.
Okay.
So we only come around like for a purpose.
Right. No.
So how do we like balance? How do you suggest that we balance that?
The balance comes from remember your foundation. So if it's we were all at a party and so-and-so walked in and we got, we bonded or from childhood or whatever, you have a foundation. Make sure you continue to nourish that. You don't want the business to be the foundation of why you guys continue to come together, because y'all didn't start off as business partners.
Right.
Y'all started off as a friendship, as a group, relatives.
Right,
So you have to always remember where you started from. So yes, be intentional. You are all growing. We are always growing and evolving every day. So make sure you share what's going on, what I'm struggling with, because some of those things actually will funnel into the business aspects. If I'm not feeling confident and I'm being challenged, you could be talking to my insecurities. And now I'm attacking you based on my insecurities than what's actually happening in the room. So being mindful of letting people know, here, this is where I am in life. This is what's going on with me. So people could be more compassionate and show grace and know, like, okay, she is going through this. So maybe we need to back up and be like, honey, are you okay? Because this don't sound like a business thing. This sounds personal. And I want to know what's going on with you. So care about each other.
And I think when me and Trell were not talking to each other and I distanced myself from the podcast period, Joe did that. And then when I even was speaking to her, I'm like, this has been my best friend for X, Y amount of years. Like, this is foolish. Let me send a message, invite everybody to happy hour to kind of break the ice. Danny responded and said she's home. Trell didn't respond at all. And I was like, all right, well, I tried.
Yeah.
And
See,
I
I
just
think
kept it.
I
kept
didn't
it at that.
respond. I was away on a vacation at that time, because I was dealing with I had some trauma happen around this all the same time. So and I'm still dealing with that. So I was dealing with that. So yes, that was me pulling back and focusing on myself. I wasn't talking to nobody. I didn't respond. I wasn't purposely not responding to any one particular person. I wasn't talking to anybody because that was what I do when I'm on vacation, which is what I normally do all the time. That's not the first time. I do it all the time. I go and I'm not talking to anybody. I make sure Nell knew, because that's the business manager. So I made sure she knew that I was going to be X, Y, and Z. And I just left it at that.
For me, maybe like when I'm going through, I want to be left alone. So I treat everybody else like they want to be left alone. And maybe I should not do that, but that's how I do. Like I don't want to be bothered. So maybe they don't want to be bothered. Maybe they need time. Maybe they need space, and they'll come back when they're ready. So should I not do that?
We got to learn what's best for each person.
Right. Express what you need. The falling back part is just going to let people interpret what's going on. And you never want to leave that in somebody else's hands, because they're not you. And you also don't want to be misunderstood. So you want to let people know, this is what I need. Express your needs. We don't do that as women. We're caregivers. We pick up and go. We would keep it going, and not realize I need space. I need time. I need somebody just to be near me, but not talk. Tell people exactly what you need and be comfortable with that. Because you know what? That's what actually builds friendships. Because if you never tell anybody what you need, people think you already got it and you already have together. So if you're backing up, you just being funny. And then all of a sudden there's contention. Let people know what you need, so people are like, okay, she's still connected. She's still connected with us, but this is what's going on. And that way people can decide how they want to rally behind you. But like, you know what, you need space, but I'm going to send you a text message every day and let you know that I'm thinking of you, I love you, and I just want to encourage you, keep your head up. But you have to let people know what's going on with me, and this is what I need at this time.
So like they had their own situation, and I'm like, they're best friends. They were friends before, and like we were the team. So for that situation, I'm going to let them deal with it. It happened. Tell me if I'm wrong.
Wrong.
Like,
because I'm being honest, because Trell literally said that she went to Danny.
But with
first
that whole
before
thing,
she
I
asked
asked
me.
you. And
then Joe
I said
came.
this to Nell.
Yeah,
I
so
asked Danny.
my
one-
question,
Can she
yeah,
finish what she was
let
saying?
her.
I'm curious.
Like, should I let them handle it? Like, Trell came to me. I didn't know. Like, y'all had to bring me up to speed on what happened, what was going on, and like, just because she came to me, don't mean I agreed with her or I sided with her.
But even when
So
I came
that
to you,
was
I
my
came
question,
and asked
though.
you just the one question, right? And I didn't talk to you about anything that was going on between us after that.
So
I kept it. I didn't even talk to Nell or about it. I kept it between me and her. When we was going back and forth and communicating, it was between her and I. I wasn't talking to everybody about it.
So my thing was, and that was my question, my next question for you. It was an incident that happened outside of the business. So it had nothing to do with business. It was mistrust. Honestly, it was something that Rebecca thought Trell would never do. It was a misunderstanding because we met. So I met with Trell and Rebecca by themselves with just us. And I agree with you on letting people know what you need. That's why I was over here like cheering. Because once we, Rebecca, Trell, and I, who have been knowing each other forever, had that conversation, she broke down and she teared and she told us and she let us know. We had no clue, no idea. Like, I'm like, okay, well, then that's where the root of it comes from. It does happen like that. That's where when I said, I feel like, when you said the person that agrees with you, I don't think Becca does it as much. That's just who she talk. But I feel like, going to Danny on Becca's side is like, well, why would you go to Danny? Why didn't you say something to me? And then Joe and Danny, now me, Joe and Danny are in a group message. I'm like, look, like get them their space, leave them alone.
Yep.
Don't talk about, because I felt like you talking to each other, it was the murmuring thing you said. It was festering over here. It was festering over here.
Right.
She's thinking she talking
But
about
that's the
something.
thing. I did not do that.
Well,
I
yeah,
did
it's
not.
still the-
I
it's still
had
the
when it first happened.
You know what I mean?
right,
It's the assumption of not knowing because you're not saying anything. So, and Becca said, it's like, well, you asked Danny, what was y'all talking about? What was you murmuring about? And then Trell could think, I'm not saying that you did, oh, well, Becca and Joe was talking, like, it was the murmuring part or leaving that assumption in of like, okay, well, what happened?
And
know
then
what
I tried
mean?
to dead all that. And then I was like, all right, everybody invited to happy hour. Of course, it was only me, Joe, and Dom there. And then I think Trell had hit me up and was like, let's go to dinner, me and you. I was like, all right, cool. This is something that needs to happen for our friendship. I had to work the day after recording. I said, all right, bet, but I'm going to still go. If I'm shit tired and on my 12-hour shift, I'm going to do it. And then after recording, it was like, oh, we still going? All right, cool. We can reschedule because I'm tired. All right, cool. It was like, all right. So ever since then, I've just been like, it is what it is. But if you know that was something that was vital to our friendship, to just be like, oh, all right, well, yeah, because I'm tired, we could reschedule, and the reschedule never happened.
I've definitely rescheduled after that, and then I rescheduled twice after that, and it didn't happen.
You asked me that Friday, I was like, I'm out of town, and then we said we'll do Sunday after the recording, and then you said you was tired. We never went. We never rescheduled nothing.
We did. We definitely rescheduled after that, and the times we didn't do it because you had work, which I understood with that, and I stopped rescheduling after that, but I rescheduled after that more than once.
I don't recall. But.
So we need help with that situation.
Yeah, so when an offense happens, and it is between certain people, because you say it's outside of business at this point, you need to be comfortable enough to go to that person and actually have that uncomfortable conversation. Because at the end, like I said,
Which we did.
It probably hurt. Y'all probably had some tears, but it needed to happen. Don't let things like that fester too long. It's dangerous, for one, because you don't want to lose your friendship. And then it does trickle into the business aspect. All of a sudden, now we're not doing recordings, or the people that people are happy of hearing all the time, now they're not.
Because
on
we
the
literally,
radio.
it was Danny, Joe, and Dom that week. The next week was Mother's Day, so it was only Trell and Danny. Then the next one was Father's Day, so it was only me and Joe. It was like a month and a half, almost 2 months of us not being.
Now it was like, all right, y'all, show must go on. What we doing?
And it's not the fact that it was offense. It was mistrust. It was mistrust. It was a big thing.
Right.
I'm not gonna downplay it like it wasn't. It was a big thing. I would feel some type of way. However, once we had the conversation, we found out, and I think it's the initiation. instead of saying like I'm going through or I'm traumatized, but because I know Trell, I know that's not what she's gonna do. So I said, we're having this. Like, this is what I'm making you do this.
Right.
And I want that to be known as like, is that okay? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like we all have our own perspective or how we see things wanting to be played out.
Right.
And when it doesn't play out that way, then it's like, oh, well, you know, she didn't do it. She may not have done it, but it got done.
Right.
Like we had that dialogue. We got there eventually. You know what I mean?
There has to be someone, a person of reason. There has to be a voice of reason. And then someone to say, I care so much about you too. I love you and I love you. And I see what this is doing to both of you. And y'all need to come together. I don't care, kicking and screaming, y'all need to come together. Because at the end of the day, you know, you sitting on the outside, you're watching the hurt over here, and you're watching the hurt over here. So you're just like, no, y'all need to get together because I see the pain. And it's okay to have that person that could bring y'all together. Not the person that's going to gossip and keep things going, but the person that could be like, no, I love you both enough to let y'all know this is not right. And we need to sit and fight this out.
And that's what Nell did.
And then when we got to and I love that you said, like, one, I love their friendship, period. Regardless if they arguing together or not together, I admire it. You know, I'm older, but I admire their friendship. And I love that you said the vocalizing, because that is the main root, is like, we don't know. Like, I don't know what Danny goes through. Danny never shares. She don't share.
I think we have
so
to,
it feels like a conflict of like, dang, you steady listening, but you ain't sharing nothing.
and I've
told her about
also,
that, too.
yes, they have told me about that, and I've also said, ask me what you want to know.
Right.
But like in friendship, some things you don't have to, oh, well, I'm not going to tell you unless you ask. Like, you get what I'm saying?
No, it's
Like,
not
so
even that.
for-
Sometimes I feel like it's not share worthy. Like, it's like day-to-day
It's the
shit.
assumption.
Can
Like-
I chime in before you say something, Samantha?
I may forget this though.
Oh, go ahead.
I think this is good. So the unique thing about you, Danny, in this friendship, wasn't you kind of like one of the last ones that came into the group, or am I making that up?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Out
there's
of
a
us?
Yeah, because we
different-
was all friends and
Yeah.
then she came to the sleepover.
there's a different dynamic. You may not realize it, but you may feel like, oh, what they have may be a little bit stronger, so I don't have as much as an opinion. And that not may be something that comes out in the forefront, but that's probably something that you're internalizing. So you're watching the dynamics and you're probably like, I'm just going to sit back because, you know, this is what they do, not realizing you do have a voice and an opinion. So it's like forcing yourself to realize, yeah, honey, you part of this too. Because sometimes it's very hard.
And
when
that's true.
You come, first of all, I'm sitting here and I'm playing double dutch, trying to get in.
Right.
So y'all have strong personalities and y'all want to be heard. And then a quiet spirit, because I that's what I sense from you. A quiet spirit, some, you know, not really knowing how to assert yourself, which, you know, aggressiveness is different than you asserting yourself and just letting people know, I'm here, I'm present, I'm in the room. And what they're saying, I hope you're listening. They're saying what you have to say is so valid that we can't even move on without it. How powerful is that? You are so needed. And you continue to shrink yourself, or it appears as if you keep shrinking yourself, that people are trying to figure out what's going on. They are telling you, we need you at the table. So know that, embrace that, and say what you need to say. It don't have to be a million words because we have her for that. I'm going to play. But you do. But, you know, say what you need to say. You are so valid. You are so needed. You know, they chose you. They adopted you into this circle for a reason.
This is her business. This is her baby.
this is-
She the
yeah.
one that
It
came
was
up
her
with the
idea.
Let me tell you something. What you doing? Come on. But I can see how it could be hard because y'all do have some strong
But
personalities.
it's Danny and I because they're the best friends, and me
Uh-huh.
and Danny are more so on
Podcast wise. But as far as the team as a whole, is 3 sets of best friends and Danny. It's Dom and Joe, me and Trell, Whitney and Jasmine, and Danny.
Yeah,
So I kind of get that.
Yeah, so it could be
Doesn't-
hard, you know, to navigate that. Friendships was strong here, was strong here. Where do I fit in? So also being mindful of her position in this. I'm sticking up for you. We got you. But yeah, just being more mindful. And I actually, if you don't mind, I just want to hear from you. What do you think when I say that?
I guess recently, because they have expressed this to me before, that they want me to speak of, like, I don't share. What is share worthy sometimes? Like, I ain't doing shit. I'm like, ain't nothing spectacular going on. But I try to. Like, we went to brunch yesterday, and I try to share things, and I feel like sometimes I'm a little bit better one-on-one. When it's just me and Becca, or me and Joe, or me and Trev. But I'm trying to be mindful of sharing what's going on, what I'm doing. Like, like yesterday, I was sharing, because I'm in a relationship, so I'm trying to share what's going on in my relationship, what am I doing, like where it's at.
So it may not have to be everything, but especially in regards to like how you feel about things. I think that's something that you should share. Is there something that may disrupt the business because I'm dealing with it emotionally and I'm dealing with it by myself? You seem like a person that would deal with things by yourself and internalize. And that's when things get worse. You have a connection, a group where you can actually go to individuals and say, hey, this is what's going on with me. You know, like I said, I'm not going to be naive to think that everybody has the same relationships and friendship. You may be closer to one person than the other. So go to the person that, you know, when it comes to something personal and you, like you said, I do better one-on-one, share with that person. So when people are like, what's going on with something? She's going through something. Maybe y'all should talk to her. It's not your responsibility to share with everybody. But it is your responsibility to be like, hey, back off. This is what she told, not this is what she told me. She told me something. She's going through something. Y'all may need to reach out. So y'all will know.
Right. Well, thank you, Samantha. You have a lot of
Unpacking to do.
Yeah.
And
But
team
it's
building.
basically just like the grace. You mentioned that before, just giving everybody the grace to be who they are, too, I guess. And I was going to say before, I think we need to keep in mind, too, that with the whole sharing thing, it's not always easy to share. Like, when me and Becca had that whole issue, I also was dealing with recent sexual assault. So I'm processing that, and I'm dealing with, as you can imagine, I'm sure, all the extra stuff that comes with that. So I was having a very difficult time. I'm better these days. I still have my moments, but I'm better. I was having a very difficult time. So there were times where I wasn't saying, okay, this is what I'm dealing with. But it's not that simple to just say, this is how I feel, or this is what's going on. But everybody knew what was happening.
Right.
But only one person repeatedly checked up on me to see, like, how am I feeling or what's going on with me. So I think it's not always easy to just say, what's going on, or I'm feeling this way. It's like, sometimes for me personally, sometimes it's easier for me to just keep it to myself and deal with my issues on the side. And if we're in a space and we're talking about it, then I'll share.
Right. But if you feel like it's getting too heavy, make sure you do talk to someone. And how brave are you to even, bring it up to your friends? Because a lot of people will keep that in. But wow, how brave are you?
And so when that happened, for her to say only one person reached out her continually kind of hurts, because when it first happened, we was all gung-ho ready to kill this nigga.
Yeah, so I'm saying,
hold
sorry,
on.
go ahead.
And so but then, like Trell says, she don't share nothing. So it happened. We're like, how you doing? And then everything was like back to normal. Like, she was acting regular. So how do I know that this is still something that's, you know what I'm saying, affecting me?
I kind of felt like we were in a rough spot beforehand. I felt that situation kind of brought us closer, especially with the other team members from the outside. Like, we all championed, well, in my head, that's what I thought. We all championed behind her, supported her, came together when we weren't even speaking, just to make her feel like we're here for you, we're supporting you, and just being a body, just being there. And whatever you want to share, however you want to express it, lay it on us. We're here to hold your load.
Come on, we going to the bar.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm not saying that didn't happen, because my friends were definitely great. I'm talking about that, like, the after. Like, initially, yes, it was dear, but then it's like, once me and Becca had our issue within our friendship, it's like everybody forgot about what happened, and it stopped. I didn't feel like I had any of that support any longer.
Right.
There was no, and then when like no, she would say, I know you got going through a lot, but, and it would always be back with something else negative behind it. It was never, I don't feel like it was ever genuinely, are you okay? I know you're dealing with this. Are you okay? It was always, I know you're dealing with this, but blah, 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 like this is going on.
But I think the but was
But
because...
for me, the but is because I've known Trell since she was a teenager. So for me, I know Trell. And when you go back to the history, like you said, you know, everybody doesn't know. Like Joey and Danny don't, but Becca and Trell, I know. So that's why when I had to sit down and I said to her, like, what's going on? And she like let it all out. I'm looking like, well, why didn't you say that? Like,
because you have to realize too, I'm
but
also
now
trying
that
to
I
figure out what I even feel. I was in a place where I was trying to also figure out what I even feel, what I'm dealing with.
But now that she's saying it, now that she's verbalizing and saying, well, I just get quiet or I won't say nothing, or because in our past, I never had to say, hey, Trell, how you doing? Like, we never, honestly, me, Becca, and Trell never did that ever from the time they've been friends. Right. It always was like, yo, I'm going through this, or y'all know that this happened, you know that. It never was I have to catch up. So now, again, with them being older, things happening, you know, this is a big deal. We don't know we as friends don't know how to deal with that.
Right.
We don't know what we're supposed to do. Right. If you're saying to me, you're fine, like we lived in the same house. If you're saying you're fine and you cool and I'm okay, well, then I'm taking you for your word, because for all these years, for over 20 years, that's what it meant. I'm cool. I'm fine. Right. So
this is why I say is for me, I want us to remember to just focus on the friendship, because we do have. I'm different. I'm not that same person. Right. So I think we all are.
And that's why I said.
And that's why we said we need to do the catch up, like you said. Because I feel like
on a regular though. Yeah, we should be doing it on a regular.
Yeah, you could put it aside, have an annual something, or just do it. But be mindful when somebody experiences a trauma. It's a loss, and the person is actually going through a process of grieving their safety, grieving the environment, grieving, you know, their self-respect, how to feel. Like it's a process, and that could take years to go through. So a shutdown could also be a numbing. I don't want to feel this. I don't want to talk. I want to go away. I just, you know,
I want to get back to my normal and do what I usually do.
And what is normal now,
right?
You know, and trying to figure that out. So it is a process. So make sure you're showing, you know, her grace and compassion, and it's allowing her to go through this process. But, you know, she's telling you now, I need y'all to check in with me. Because I guess when things happen, y'all weren't checking in as much, or it didn't seem like. Because, you know, sometimes, like I said, a matter of perspective. Mm-hmm. It could have slowed down, or it could have been actually normal, but you needed more. So sometimes you need to, like, even, like I said, reach out to that person that you actually trust the most and let them know, I need more. I think that's okay.
I think we talked about that before, like what support looks like.
Mm-hmm. It's different for everybody.
But like you said, being vocal and saying what you need. Because like I said, when I'm just thinking, she may process like I do. She won't be bothered, so I'm not going to bother her.
Right.
But she may not need that. Right. She may need something else from me.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm being mindful of that too, being more vocal about what it is that I need or what I'm dealing with and stuff like that.
And I like that word, being more mindful. And part of being mindful is being present now, not what somebody did in the past. Right. What do you need now?
Right.
And also check in with yourself. What do I need now?
Because what you need now is different from what you need tomorrow, which is different from what you needed 2 years ago, which is the continual follow-up.
Right.
Well, thank you for coming. We appreciate it.
Yes, it was a very, very great conversation.
We're going to have you come back and follow up.
Yeah.
Make sure we
Any
do.
homework?
We might need to, like, book you for, like, a regular sessions.
You got any homework? You got any homework for us?
Oh, yes. I want y'all to actually, that whole coming together thing, make that intentional. Make, you know, you're a business. So always team building. Have a team building activities outside of the bar.
That's right.
Okay. You know, something that you could be personable with and share, be creative, but you know, sometimes you need to do something sober. And without, honestly, it's not about that. It's being without the distraction of the things around you. So you can focus on each other.
a break from being a mom, a break from work, a break from, just focus on each other. Come up with that activity, come up with those things. But remember, it's friends first.
Right.
And also, when you get into those heated discussions, make sure, breathe, back off.
Yeah.
Respect each other's differences. Make sure you use those I statements, because your feelings are valid. People will understand your feelings before your actions or how you say things. Remember,
Right.
you want to be heard, not seen.
Right.
So be careful in regards to that, and always verbalize what you need. That is so important. Like I said, whatever's stewing in with you, it's going to funnel over into the business. So make sure you do that. Verbalize what you need. Check in with yourself. Check in with each other. Very important.
Thank you for
Thank
that.
you. Where can
and
the people find you?
Before you say that, I just want to say on a lighter note, because we had shared some stuff on social media coming up and asking questions like, would people be business partners with their friends and different questions like that. So I hope that we are showing you guys that you can, while it's not easy, you can be friends and still have a flourishing business. And we are a work in progress. So bear with us.
And that's why we wanted to be transparent, because we didn't want it to be like, oh, look, we have this great friendship,
Right.
and oh my God, our podcast is always lit, and it's always so great.
Because
Like,
honestly,
it's the
people
nitty-gritty.
have always commended us on our friendship. Like people say, even now, like you could tell that you guys are friends just by listening to you guys. Like they like the camaraderie. But we do we want to make sure people know that we aren't like the perfect friends. Like we have our issues and we just deal with them.
Right.
You have to nurture it like any other relationship.
So where can the people find you?
Hi. No, you can find me on Facebook at New Chapter Counseling Services, and also on Instagram at New Chapter Sam. I almost forgot. So yeah, I'm around.
They can DM you. You should hope
We'll definitely see you soon again.
verbal consultation, virtual consultations. Because we got a lot of listeners from outside.
that'll be
of
dope.
The Connecticut area.
That'd be
And
dope.
you know, we are advocates of therapy.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Very true.
Yeah, we need it
Yes.
in our community. It's something that we're still ashamed of, but honestly, we all need it.
Everybody.
Yes.
Sounds good. So our church announcements, really quick, just this Thursday the 19th, 7 p.m. is our Facebook Live. Log in. We'll do some follow-up on the month. Friday, December 27th from 6 to 9 is the Extra Yard Small Business Expo and Comedy Show. We have a live segment from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. on there. So we're going to have a mini live show there.
Yeah,
so
come
make
see
sure you
us.
guys get your tickets. We'll have that on our social medias.
A little sneak
And
peek.
then our third annual Sequence and Sip is December 28th from 8 to 11. Going to be a great time.
Yes.
Hors d'oeuvres, champagne toast, just really good vibes.
Yeah.
So make sure you guys come out. It's going to be a great time.
Yeah, sequence is not mandatory, guys, but we would love to see
Put
it.
some sparkles
Damn.
on, some
I don't
glitter,
know.
some
We'd love to
metallic
see
or
it.
something.
Guys, you could do sequence too.
Right.
Joe, do you have a positive vibe for us this week?
I mean, don't trip. He's not through with us yet.
Don't trip.
All
good.
right.
Amen.
Who's that,
All right.
Steve Harvey?
No.
What?
Was that
That's
Steve?
the Bible, right?
No, what he say? Don't trip. God's still working on me, or God's not through me yet. Wasn't that like the name of like the stand up or something?
Oh, right.
Or was it
Kevin
Hart?
Oh, I
I think it
I
was
think
Kevin
so.
Hart. Don't trip.
But anyway.
It was one of them. It was either Steve Harvey or Kevin Hart.
That came from the book of the team.
Yeah. Right. Well, thank you guys for listening. We appreciate it. Make sure you rate, subscribe, review. And until next time.
Bye, guys.
Toodles.